Welcome to the very first episode of Homefront Hustle. I'm Holly Luca, and I'm really excited to finally do this. I've spent years talking with people about mortgages, credit, buying homes, owning homes, and money, and I've realized something. People have a lot of questions. Sometimes they're afraid to ask them. Sometimes they don't even know who to ask. And sometimes they go online looking for an answer, and 20 minutes later, they're more confused than when they started. That's exactly why I created Homefront Hustle. This is where we're going to talk about buying a home, owning a home, credit, mortgages, home equity, reverse mortgages, and the financial decisions that come along with all of it. And we're going to talk about it like normal people. No mortgage dictionary required. So whether you're thinking about buying your first home, you've owned your house for 25 years, or you're somewhere in between, you're in the right place. For our very first episode, I want to answer one of the biggest questions I hear. Can I actually afford to buy a house? Let's talk about it. One of the first things people want to know when they're thinking about buying is how much can I qualify for? And I actually think that's the wrong question. The better question is, how much can I comfortably afford? Those are two different numbers. A lender can calculate how much you may qualify to borrow based on your income, debts, credit, assets, and the loan program they're trying to put you in. But that calculation doesn't know how you live. It doesn't know that you like to travel, eat out, go to movies. It doesn't know what your kids' activities cost. Holy cow, those can be expensive. It doesn't know that you help your parents every month. And it definitely doesn't know that you refuse to give up your daily coffee. And you know what? You shouldn't have to. Your mortgage needs to fit into your life, not the other way around. Your life shouldn't have to fit around your mortgage. That's one of the biggest things I want people to understand. And that's why, instead of starting with the price of the house, I like to start with something else, your payment. Let's talk about that next. Okay, when I work with somebody who's buying a home, I'm not interested in simply saying, congratulations, you qualify for $400,000. Great, but what does that $400,000 house actually look like every month? That's the conversation I want to have, because your housing payment isn't just principal and interest. Depending on the property you're looking at and your loan, we may also have property taxes, homeowners insurance, mortgage insurance, HOA dues, and possibly other expenses. So instead of starting with, I want a $400,000 house, I want you to think about this. What monthly housing payment can I comfortably live with? And notice I said comfortably, not what's the absolute maximum amount you could possibly squeeze into my budget. Those are very different things. Now let's talk about interest rates, because this is where I see a lot of people get stuck. Someone tells me, I'm waiting until rates go down. Okay, come down to what? And that's usually where the conversation gets interesting. Maybe they heard 5% somewhere. Maybe someone told them rates are going back to 4%. Oh, okay. Maybe they remember their friend getting 3% years ago. So they've created this magic number in their head. But buying a home isn't about one number. We have to look at the whole transaction. What's the price of the house? What's the payment amount? How much money are you putting down? What's the seller willing to negotiate? Can we get seller concessions? Is there an opportunity to reduce your upfront costs? What loan program makes sense for me? How long do you expect to own the home? And most importantly, does buying make sense for you right now? That's the decision, not whether the interest rate starts with a 5, 6, 7, 8. There are two other things that cause people to decide they can't buy before they've even talked to someone. down payment and credit. And there are a lot of misconceptions around both. So let's tackle those two topics next. So we're moving on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about the biggest home buying myths, the down payment. I still hear this all the time. I don't have 20% down. Well, okay, who told you that you needed 20%? Depending on the borrower and loan program, there can be options requiring substantially less than that. There are conventional options, FHA, VA for eligible veterans and service members, USDA for eligible borrowers and properties, and there may also be down payment assistance programs. Different programs have different requirements, advantages, and costs. So please don't automatically eliminate yourself because you don't have tens of thousands of dollars sitting in a savings account somewhere. Find out what your actual options are first. Now, let's talk about the other big one, credit. Oh, that's a bad word. I hear my credit isn't perfect, so I can't buy. Maybe, maybe not. The number you're seeing on your phone isn't enough information for me to tell you that. And this is something we're going to talk about a lot on Homefront Hustle because I love talking about credit. Your credit score is the result. Your credit report helps us understand why you're getting that result. Those are two different things. Maybe your credit card balances are too high. Maybe there was a late payment. Maybe there's a collection from, 10 years ago. Maybe your credit file is just really thin. Maybe something is reporting incorrectly. Or maybe your credit is perfectly workable and you've spent the last 2 years thinking, I couldn't buy a house, when you actually could have explored your options. That's why I would rather look at the situation than have somebody tell themselves no before they've even started. And that's really one of the themes you're going to hear over and over on Homefront Hustle. Stop guessing. Find out what your numbers actually say. Because once we know where you are, we can't figure out what comes next. And what brings me to a segment we're going to do regularly on this podcast. It's called, What Would Holly Do? I've got our first scenario for you. Are you ready? I can't wait. Here we go. It's time for the first What Would Holly Do? Here's the scenario. You have $30,000 saved. You're buying a home and you have two options. Option A, you use almost all of that money towards your home purchase because you want the lowest payment possible. Option B, you put less money down and keep a healthy amount of money in savings. Yay! What would Holly do? I'm going to give you an answer you're going to hear a lot on this podcast. I want to see the numbers because putting more money down isn't automatically the smartest decision. I'd want to know things like how much does the additional down payment actually reduce my monthly payment? Does it change my mortgage insurance? What's the interest rate? Do you have other debt? How much money will I have left after I close? And what happens if the air conditioner dies 3 months after you buy the house? Yep, that seems to happen. Because houses apparently know exactly when you've depleted your savings. That's usually when something breaks. I'm not interested in simply getting you into the house. I want you to be able to financially comfortable after you get the keys. Sometimes keeping cash available can be more valuable than squeezing every possible dollar into the down payment. And sometimes putting more down makes perfect sense. That's why we run the numbers. So can you afford to buy? Maybe you can. Maybe you can't yet. And I actually want people to be comfortable hearing both answers. If you're not ready today, that doesn't mean homeownership is off the table. It means we need a plan. Maybe we need 6 months to work on credit. Maybe we need to save another $5,000. And maybe we need to reduce some monthly debt first. Maybe we need to explore a different loan program. Maybe we need to adjust the price range. Or maybe you are ready and simply didn't realize it. The point is, stop guessing. I'd much rather tell someone, here's where you are today, and here are the 3 things we need to work on. Now you've got a roadmap. Okay, here's the deal. In every episode, I'm going to give you one thing to do. Here's your first Homefront hustle. Don't go online and look at house prices. And don't look at mortgage rates. Instead, look at your own monthly budget. Ask yourself this: what monthly housing payment would allow me to own my home and still live my life? Not the maximum, your comfortable number. Write it down. And now I want to hear from you. I've created a Facebook community called Homefront Hustle, where we're going to continue these conversations throughout the week. I'll be posting questions, polls, credit tips, homebuyer information, homeowner strategies, and some fun stuff too. Most importantly, you can ask questions there. Your questions may even become a future Homefront Hustle episode. So search Facebook for Homefront Hustle and come join us. And if there's somebody in your life who's thinking about buying a home, already owns one, and is working on their credit, or just wants to make smarter decisions with their money, send this episode to them too. Before you go, remember this: buying a home isn't about chasing the perfect interest rate, the perfect house, or the perfect market. It's about making a smart decision for your life and your money. I'm Holly Luca, and this is Homefront Hustle. Real people, real questions, real solutions. I'll see you next time.